If you do not want it to be recorded.
Alan, we can hear you.
Okay.
Louder.
This housekeeping issue. This TLI is being recorded for those people, thanks to my wife there, for those people who do not want this to be public or be recorded, please let me know, and we will not record that. Okay, now
There's a question.
I have a question.
yes.
So let's say somebody wasn't able to make the TLI meeting. If they watch the video, would that fulfill?
No, I'll discuss it. We'll discuss make-up opportunities afterwards. Okay? Just can't do it online. Okay. Many years ago, I think it was the second officer training I went to many years ago, I actually, the speaker who was training the officer role for my position was really boring. I know this is shocking. So, I thought about this. I remembered this when I as soon as that instant when I became division director, that I'm the person doing the training in Division B is going to be an individual who is not going to put anybody to sleep. This morning, we are blessed again to have an individual. He's been club president for Caneo Valley. He was a past lieutenant governor of education training for District 52, which is the San Fernando Valley. It's a very high-performing district. He's done many leadership things for Toastmasters. He's the current president of Uju Toastmasters. He's an officer of the Sebera Toastmasters. And any other cover? Very active in Toastmasters. He's one of the things we all look forward to after retiring from Raytheon. It is my pleasure to welcome back again an individual who will cover the officer roles, distinguished Toastmaster Wayne Sebera.
You've had the cocktails, you've had the aperitif, you've had the salad. Now it's time for the meat and potatoes, the main course. And for the vegans in the room, it's the broccoli and the cauliflower. Club officer success, that's why we're here. Fellow Toastmasters, friends and guests, today we're going to talk about leadership. We're going to talk about focus. We're going to talk about what makes a successful club and how do we provide that nurturing, positive experience for all members. It comes through the leadership in the club, through our officers. Today I want to cover the material that is presented to us by Toastmasters International, and a lot of the material you'll see here is uniformly designed because the branding of Toastmasters International is important. They have evolved over 80 some odd years to determine which clubs are successful, what officers do that makes the club successful, how do we play together in a collaborative manner. And these principles of activity, these ideas, these guidelines, these duties are common across all of Toastmasters worldwide. Why? Because they work. They absolutely work. All you have to do is follow the list, do your role, participate in the teamwork, and you have a successful, enjoyable, fun-filled club. How does that sound?
Amen.
Anyone here who is going to be an officer, is an officer, or was an officer, raise your hand. Okay, I just wanted to find out who was already asleep. Not too many. It worked pretty well. I think that worked well. So let's talk a little bit about the collaborative teamwork. What does collaboration mean? It means everyone working together with a common purpose, a common goal, a common vision. That allows us to do collaborative teamwork in a way where we provide that supported experience. Integrity, respect, service, and excellence are the 4 guidelines provided by Toastmasters International, and I've added a 5th one I called,
Fun.
what do I call it?
Fun.
Fun. What's that all about? Why is fun important?
Because you got to have fun when you...
It keeps people engaged. You heard it on the panel. You've got to have fun meetings. Let's enjoy ourselves. This doesn't have to be drudgery. This doesn't have to be boring. Let's go have a ball. Just enjoy it. If you're not enjoying yourself, why are you here? Self-development, personal growth, development of leadership skills, it all happens better when you're having fun in the process. What's integrity? Integrity means I do what I say what I'll do, and I follow through. You can count on me. What's the root word of integrity? It's trust. We've been hearing a lot of debates on the presidential avenue with both Republicans and Democrats. One of the key issues that's coming up in the conversation is trust. Who do you trust? How can you trust them? How do you know you can trust? It's about integrity. Integrity of our word and our meaning. When you make a commitment to someone, we want to be sure you follow through. That's what integrity is about. Respect. You respect all the members. Treat them all with equal respect. Don't talk over somebody who has the floor. Don't interrupt the speaker. Don't discredit or insult another person, particularly in Toastmasters. It's about service. How do we provide service to others? I'm about to show you some of the beauties and techniques that allow us to serve our members in the best possible way. Excellence is our guideline. Fun is our motto. These are 6 elements of leadership that we want to explore. This chart is taken out of our High Performance Leadership Training Guide. How many of you have done an HPL program? So look at the hands raised in the room. Anyone who has their hand raised would be a good person to talk to during the break. What's high performance leadership? What is that all about? For one thing, it's required to become a DTM. Before you can be declared distinguished, you need to have a high performance leadership program. These are the attributes: vision and values. We talked about it already. Direction, persuasion, support, development, appreciation. I've come from the corporate world. I've been vice president of 2 Fortune 500 companies and have developed teams and seen teams that work and teams that don't work. I've seen leadership that enables and facilitates effective teamwork. And I've seen leadership that dominates and kills teamwork. So which is better? We want to have the style of leadership that fits our mission statement, providing supportive and positive experiences for all. You could take a half an hour on any one of these topics and explore it. And in fact, this training is typically a 6-hour training. Today I'm going to give it to you in a condensed form, and it'll be in 3 parts. You know what the 3 parts are? I'll tell you. Sub-Leadership Handbook. How many have a copy of this? Keep your hand up if you've read it. Oh, that was really mean. This is our handbook that each one of us was given at the beginning of our tenure, and it allows us to see in a condensed form what are the duties, the expectations, how does the teamwork fit together. It goes through the timeline, it goes through a number of different events to tell you how to organize them. This is a great little handbook. I urge all of you, if you have read it or if you haven't read it, now's a good time to pick it up and read it again. So that's step 1 of your training. Step 2 of your training is what I'm about to tell you on these slides that are coming up. And I know you can't wait. I can see you're on the edge of the seat. I can tell you're excited. Step 3, what's step 3? Well, step 3 is what we will do right after the break. You see the green signs on the wall? We have peer groups for each of the officers in your incoming or continuing position. In our peer group, we will have an opportunity under the leadership of a knowledgeable person to explore what that office does, how we focus, how we perform our duties, and how we relate to the others. So there's 3 steps. Read the manual, listen to the presentation, participate in a peer group. Does that sound like a viable approach for training?
Yes.
I think it's a good approach because it gives us the details in writing. It gives us a presentation, you can hear the ideas. And third, you can actually participate, raising any questions you may have, bringing up any observations or learning that you may have to share with others. It puts it all together, gives you a complete package. Now, I struggled with this for a minute because I said, how do you put together 7 offices? And I began to see that it wasn't a square, it wasn't a cube, it wasn't a circle, it wasn't a hexagon, it wasn't a, what was it? It's a 7-sided figure. You know what you call a 7-sided figure?
Confusion.
Septagon. There's actually 2 names for it. Septagon is the one I'll use today, and the septagon is the 7 active officers. But there's really an 8th office. What is it? Immediate past president. Immediate past president is an overseer to this septagon and provides guidance, judgment, and coaching to the new officers as they come in. So as the president completes their tour of duty, they move into a role of oversight to help select, help to coach, to create the officers for the next go-round. As we go around this circle or this septagon, you'll see that there are, as I mentioned, 7 sections. And each of the 7 sections cover a role which has duties and responsibilities. That's what we'll talk about. I'd like you to imagine, if you would, for a moment, that this is a wheel. If this is a wheel, it's on your bicycle. Those are the spokes on your bicycle. And you're cruising down the street riding your bicycle. You want all your spokes to be full and complete. You don't want to have a short spoke. You don't want to have a missing spoke. What does that do? That produces a bumpy ride. The same is true. The metaphor works here, that if each of the officers does their role and the teamwork collaborates across the roles, then you have a smooth ride, you can go fast, you can have fun. So keep in mind that context, that metaphor of a wheel, on how your officers are working together. Today we're going to go through very quickly the wheel in counterclockwise fashion. I'll be starting down here with the Sergeant at Arms, go through Treasurer, Secretary, the Vice Presidents, and end up with the President. Any questions at this point? Excellent. Achieving success, Sergeant at Arms. And by the way, I want to also extend appreciation to both Dan Murray and Tim Mullins for the pioneering work that they did in this presentation, preparing the early slides that I've stolen and reproduced and will be presenting to you. So Tim and Dan, thank you for your contributions in getting the ball teed up so we can have a nice clear swing. Sergeant at Arms. Sergeant at Arms has a primary job of managing the physical equipment, the logistics, the location, the venue, the equipment, the supplies, everything that's needed to provide that supportive environment so the club meeting can be successful. There are duties to be done ahead of the meeting, like making sure that the venue is set up properly, that the equipment is in place. Do you have all your ribbons? Do you have enough squawk sheets so that you can get feedback? Those things are done ahead of time. We want to arrange the meeting and ensure if there's any equipment that needs working. For example, we had on the Ajou Club, we have a little stoplight type timer light. Every now and then it needs new batteries or a new bulb. So is it working? Check that ahead of the meeting. There are various things that need to be done. Make sure the meeting begins on time. The Sergeant at Arms, when the appointed time to start the meeting begins, the Sergeant at Arms will take the stage and greet the people and introduce the presiding officer. The presiding officer is the one who calls the meeting to order. but the Sergeant at Arms provides an introduction and a setting and a warning to turn down your noisemakers, things of that nature. So that's the sequence to begin the meeting. During the meeting, arrange a fill-in if you're absent. If there's some reason you can't attend, you need to have a backup ready to go. That was an excellent point made earlier in the day, to have backups on your key positions. It's true for speakers. In the Conejo Valley Club, which I was originally a member, we had 4 speakers at every meeting, and there was a waiting period of about a month to get that speaking slot. There was such competition for those slots. So we routinely assigned a backup speaker in case one of the speakers had to drop out at the last minute. In addition, anyone in the club who's a DTM or an experienced speaker should be able to step up on short notice and deliver that speech. That's what backup is all about. For the Sergeant at Arms, backup means ensuring that the meeting is going to go smoothly, no surprises, everything is in place. At the end of the meeting, clean up and what do you do at the end of the meeting? Who forgot their wallet? Who forgot their cell phone?
Yeah.
What is this on the floor? What happened? Did we mess up the room over here? We need to make sure that's left nice for the group to follow. That's Sergeant at Arms. You'll see this. Can you all see the bottom line here? No. Bottom line says, be a deputy to the Vice President of Management. You will see that on every
Membership.
slide, because every office will be a deputy to the VP of Membership, with the exception of one office, and that's the VP of Membership. Everyone in the officer's crew is focused on bringing in new members. We've talked about that. That gives us a good basis to go from. Success as the treasurer. The treasurer takes care of the fiscal management of the club, or the financial management of the club. Remember I said in the introduction that I've been a vice president at 2 Fortune 500 companies. What I've noticed in this teamwork training is that if you follow the guidelines on how to be a treasurer, you will learn your skills on accounting, on interacting with banks, on interacting with marketing funds, following the guidelines so that you're within the rules and regs, following the reporting with the income tax people, FTB and the IRS. You will learn all the essential parts about financial management as treasurer of a club that will actually give you a leg up and a helpful direction if you want to pursue that in the corporate world or in the business world. As a treasurer, these are the ideas that you want to pursue. Make a budget. Why do you need a budget? Well, there's supplies to be purchased, there's certain costs that have to be put out by the club. And remember in the budget that there are certain allowables and certain non-allowables. You want to make sure you're not spending club money on things that are not allowable. The club money belongs to the club. It doesn't belong to any individual. It belongs to the club. And there are guidelines on what's appropriate spending. Working with the bank, collecting the dues. The due dates are October and April. So we have one coming up. Make sure all the dues are turned in. Applications and dues. This is the tax report due by May 15th. And the federal is now covered by the TI headquarters, Toastmasters International headquarters. So you don't have to worry about that. And what was the last one?
Be deputy to the VP membership.
Exactly. How did you know that? More duties, retaining the financial records. There'll be more on the time for that. Financial reports to the executive committee and any accounts for audit. When there's a new transition from the old treasurer to the new, it's a good time to do an audit. Close the books. That Toastmaster term is completed. We're ready to step into the new term. Let's audit the books, make sure we've got all the records in place, make sure we know how much money is there, what's needed, where we're headed, what we can anticipate. Treasury followed by a secretary. Secretarial duties, who knows, after you've been the secretary, you may end up being Secretary of State, Secretary of Defense. It gives you some great skills, so let's talk about secretary. Recording the minutes from the meetings and from the executive council meeting. Submit and update the club officer list. You know, TI has a beautiful website with a lot of capability and a lot of power. One of the things we need to do is keep it current. Secretary is responsible that the members' names, addresses, and information is accurate, that the officers' lists are submitted on time,